Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Charlie's Truth YouTube channel. My name is Charlie. And y'all, so I'm an intuitive soul guide and energy channeler. However, today I'm here to talk to you all about letting go. If you are in a season of your life where you are feeling led, or you are in an energy of being isolated, or you're being asked intuitively to retreat, or you are feeling like, that you're in this void, or just this, you just feel this need to be alone, right? Whatever that energy is, um, I might be talking to you. So today I had an experience, and just to preference things, I am the queen of letting go. I love endings. I mean, I'm not saying that it's always easy, but I love them. I love endings because for me, endings just always mean that there's a beginning, right? And I want to experience as much life as possible. So I'm down for whatever. But sometimes, it doesn't always feel comfortable. So today I had a really good start to my day, and then sometime throughout the day, I started to feel this sadness. So the way this sadness shows up is that there is sadness. It feels like pressure in my eyes, like I'm about to cry, but yet there's no other sensation besides that, and I don't really know. There was nothing external happening for me to be sad about. Like, so I didn't. I was so confused, right? So I decided to go outside for a walk. So I go outside for a walk. I come back in the house, the sadness comes again. So I'm like, what is going on? And I have already been feeling like I just want to be alone. Like I feel like I'm in a void. I usually feel this around a new moon. It is not a new moon. But I checked and the moon is in Pisces. But anywho, so I go outside, I come back in, and after a while, I start feeling the sadness again. I'm like, what is this pressure in my eyes for? Like, what is it about? And then I was thinking, okay, let me listen to music, because sometimes I'll listen to music and it will just help me cry and I can move on. And then I was just like, all right, let me turn the music off and just sit with this. Like, what is this even about? So I do that. And then eventually I go on YouTube and I listen to a YouTube from Shayla, I think her name is. And she ends up talking about like, everybody can't go where you're going, right? Like everybody can't go with you. And so I have been feeling like I don't want to talk to the people in my life. Mind y'all, I only got like a couple of friends. I got like two friends that I actually talk, two or three people that I actually talk to at a decent frequency. But for the most part, like I don't really talk to people like that. But I have been feeling like I'm just like I have nothing to talk to the people in my life about. Like the things that we used to talk about, I'm not interested in, and um I'm just in a different I just am not getting anything out of it right now. Like I just don't have anything to say, and I don't want to talk, and I'm just not, I'm not feeling it. Like I just want to be by myself. I just want to be isolated. I want to just be with myself. I just feel like I need to isolate, that I need to be by myself, that I need to just be in my own energy. And so even though I was feeling that, I still wasn't sure. Like honestly, a part of me, I kind of felt like, so I've been feeling like, right, like I'm saying, I'm not really interested in the conversations anymore. I'm not really interested in being around the people I'm usually talking to or hanging around. And this is not the first time this has happened in my life. Last year in 2024, I let some friends go. And it's never because like anyone does anything to me. It's simply because like we no longer, I don't feel aligned. And I feel like the conversations we're having is just putting me in energy I don't want to be in anymore. Like I'm trying to move forward, but like these conversations are pulling me back, pulling me back. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that frequency, right? Like I'm ready to move forward. I want to move forward. I feel an aspect of me becoming active, basically coming online. Like there's this aspect of me I feel like it's coming online, and the people around me, I feel like there's really no space for us to integrate together because we're not growing, we're not going in the same place right now. So I don't know. Like there's just I just don't see the space to I don't know how to be in relationship with them and integrate this aspect of me. And it's not a them problem, right? This is why I'm taking responsibility for myself and isolating myself, or not really isolating, but retreating so I can do what I need to do so I can handle and take care of myself. And what that looks like is, me allowing myself the time and space to integrate this new energy into my body, into my state of being, right? So that I can be fully integrated and then show up as a full embodiment of this version of me, right? Anyone, without me feeling like I'm being pulled back into old energy, right? I get to just and be integrated into this energy and then move forward, right? And that way, then I just reintroduce myself as opposed to trying to like pull people along into this version of me. And and the only reason why, we could say, why don't you just have a conversation with them? This is the thing, right? You can have a conversation all you want, but it's not going to change anything. People have life, right? And they get to talk about their life and they get to talk about what experience they're having. And, if I just don't have a care right now, or I'm just like, I don't have anything to add, it's just like, I'm trying to hold on to relationships and situations that once served me and once I served them too, but they're no longer aligned. And so I didn't realize. So as I'm hearing Shayla talk, um, I feel my eyes getting more watery. And so that lets me know that it's hit the spot. And so I wanted to come through and talk about the journey of letting go when we are on this path of remembrance, right? When we are this path returning back to source. When we are on this path to remembering that we are source, right? That source is in us, that we are not these egos. What that path looks like as you continue to ascend, as you continue to evolve, as you continue to move into your purpose, into your role. I am a guide. I know this. I am a leader. I know this, right? I'm a spiritual leader. I know this. Not because someone told me, but because spirit told me. I had a feeling since I was young. And I used to tell God all the time, like when I was like um more of a like consider myself Christian, I would be like, I don't want to be responsible for people. I don't want to be responsible for people. That was always my attitude. I don't want to be responsible for nobody. But life kind of, you go on the journey, you go on the path, you have your hero's journey. And I'm not who I was. And like this version of me that I saw even today, like as I was thinking about like, I want to reach out to my friends and kind of tell them like, hey, I'm gonna pull back for a minute. I'll speak to y'all soon, kind of thing. But even that, I was like, I don't feel like doing that. Like, but I get like that where I just don't want to have a conversation about it because I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. The only thing is I need time for myself. Spirit is calling me for whatever reason to take a pause. Like I need to integrate the energy. So I did a little outline. So let me get to that. Um, but basically, what I already told you guys is like the discomfort of letting go. So basically, when Shayla was talking about like everybody can't go with you and that you end up with no friends, it's very true. Like last year, I already don't have a lot of people around me. I'm a very quantity over quality type of person, right? I'm very friendly. I'm very kind. I consider myself a fairy godmother. I'm always lending a helping hand. I'm always buying somebody something. I just love loving on people. I love celebrating people. Um, but I will do that for almost anybody, right? Like if I take a liking to you, whether for a day, for a week, I just want to shower you with love while you're in my presence. And so I don't really have people that I'm close with. I'm not really close with my family. Um, I'm just this is just what it is, and and honestly, like I would talk about my family, and you would think I'm still close with everybody because I ain't got no beef with nobody. It's just like this is just my past. I don't know why, but this is it, and I'm always willing to let people go, for my higher purpose. I'm always willing to let people go for my higher self. I'm always willing to say yes to whatever version of me wants to show up. And if that means that I have to let people go in that process, I will. And, a couple of things are coming to me about this idea of like retreating and isolation. Because So when it comes to the remembrance journey, I do feel like there's been times where there were versions of me that were activated that I wasn't really interested in. And so I would take breaks from people. Like if I didn't like who I was around you, especially family, I would just take a break and do what I needed to do and make sure I was grounded in the energy I wanted to be in before I reappear. And I feel like this is no different. This is one of those situations where it's like, all right, clearly I need to just go integrate this energy, be firmly in it, and then I can come back. But by staying here in these connections, like I'm not moving forward because like as much as I'm doing, what I'm being called to do, I'm also being pulled back into that old mindset, that old state of being, which isn't who I am. It was a version of who I was in order, like it isn't fully who I am. It was a version of who I am in order to get where I am, right? Because every version of us matters. Every aspect of who we show up as matters. It's getting us to the the next state and the next state and the next state. So it all matters, but at the same time, it's just like I know for me, I do better when I just let everybody go. I disconnect my energy from everybody so no one's pulling on my energy. No one's trying to get my attention. And I just go in what I call the void and I just let spirit do what spirit needs to do with me. Let spirit guide me the way spirit needs to guide me. And then I come out of that energy, whatever version of me. And the version of me I saw is like, it's so interesting because I've seen that version of me and I felt her before. And what's so interesting about that version is like, people around me talk about that kind of state of being and they talk about it in a negative connotation. And it's not because the energy is negative or anything like that. It's because the energy isn't as I guess as gentle as people would like it. It's very objective, very to the point, very like, the way you would talk in this energy is as if things are easy without constantly telling people, I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. I know you're having a human experience. And so lately, I've been hearing people around me talk about that kind of state of being. And so for me, I already know they're not supportive. And not because they don't want to be, it's because of where they are on their journey. And it's okay. I'm not mad about it. I'm not asking for anyone to be there with me. However, I've seen that version of me and she keeps showing up. So that just means that I'm ready to embody that version of me because that is a version of me that really is going to I need to be that version of me. That's it. I just need to be her. I need to embody her. And continue to elevate. That's it. And so everybody can't go with me. And I have to come to peace with that. But as much as I'm okay with endings and as much as I'm okay with walking away from relationships, I have to be honest, today I was pretty sad. I felt that sadness and I realized I'm like, you know what? This is what happens though. I usually mourn before endings. I usually feel this sadness before it's official. And once I actually said that to myself, once I actually hit up Chat GBT, I was like, Chatty, can you process? Can you process this with me? And so as we were processing it, I just feel like this sense of relief by coming to accept where I am on this journey and like recognizing all the synchronicities that are going on right now. Recognizing, yes, I'm being called to retreat. I'm being called to spend time with myself. I'm being called to go no contact with anybody. Like they don't like literally I was gonna put my phone on do not disturb, but I'm waiting for my dentist to call me. That's the only reason why my phone is not on do not disturb and I don't want to miss the phone call. But the minute my dentist called me, my phone is going to be on no do not disturb until further notice. Because like it really is asking me to go in the void, to not be talking to people, to not watch certain things, to not engage with certain behaviors. And it has nothing to do with anybody else. This is all about me. And I know that sometimes I don't know how often people talk about this, but going through this awakening journey, choosing this path, because this path is a choice, right? Choosing this path, it can feel very lonely. And there are days where there's this sadness that you don't understand. Because I was not sure. I was like, why am I feeling sad? And then I was like, and then once I heard her say it, there was just like this confirmation about it. And I was like, oh. And so I started exploring that. And then I started being honest, like, oh, well, I have been getting a nudge to do this, that, and the third, right? Like, I've been getting a nudge to isolate. I've been getting a nudge to put my phone on do not disturb. I've been getting a nudge on not responding to people, right? I've been getting these nudges just to let things be what they are and to focus on what spirit is asking me to do. I don't know. I'm excited for whatever version of me comes out of this, right? Whatever awakenings I receive through this process. But I will say this often, a lot of times, or at least on my journey, spirit has asked me, I have left everyone. I've left everyone. And I'm grateful for the kindness that everyone has shown me. At the end of the day, I mean, for me, it was like, not to be, I don't know how this comes off, but it is what it is. Like, I know it's not personal. I know that when people are in my life, I treat them with love. I know that I shower them with love. I know that I care for them. I know that I'm considerate. I know that I'm compassionate. So for me, when I'm walking away, I don't have any regrets. I don't have anything because I know I treated you kind. I know that I appreciated you while you were around. I understand. And I truly do believe that people come into your life for however long they stay. And I think like, and this, what's his name? Nipsey Hussle said, my bad, y'all. This Nipsey Hussle said, you like you kind of gotta appreciate people while they're there. And that's it. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. And it's not personal. It's like I got to experience you. How grateful I am that I got to experience you. How grateful, you know? But at the same time, you didn't do anything to me, but I gotta move on. It's like it's kind of like visiting a new town or visiting a town and just staying there temporarily and moving on. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that constantly is with me is me. Not my parent. Neither one of my parents have been in my life my whole life. Well, my dad kind of sort of, um, but yeah. So I'm not used to anybody or anything sticking around, and so like I mean, and it still doesn't stop you from wanting connection. And I think because I want connection and I enjoy connection at the same time, like there's a certain kind of connection at this point in my life that I want. And I want to feel and I want to experience and I don't want to just fill my life with things just to say I have them. And I remember there was a time where I was hesitant to let people go because I was like, what if I need them? I'm like, spirit got me cutting all these people off. What happens when I need something? What happens if something happens? You know what I mean? Like, I know I'll be there for them regardless of what. Like, because this is not personal for me. Um, but like, what happens? Spirit, we don't wipe that. We don't let everybody go. What's up? But I'm constantly reminded that source is my resource. You know what I mean? Source is my resource. And that the people, the situation, the circumstances, whatever it is I need will be provided for me. And I think it's that kind of trust. And I think it's also that kind of courage that helps make the journey a lot more smoother. I believe anyway, when spirit wants something to happen, you can either willingly do it or you will get dragged through it. That has been my experience. So I don't really do the dragging part. I get right to it. They tell me, I say yes. Once I know what the thing is, I'm like, yes. It might take me a little extra day or two, but it's gonna get done, but because it could be anything. I've left jobs, I left the military, all these things. I was scared as heck. Even in these relationships, there's this nervousness. Well, not there's no nervousness now, but there has been in the past. But now it's just more like there's this sadness where I'm like, damn, another one. And it's so interesting because you watch people, a lot of people in my life they probably not as active, but they watch me let relationships go. And they acknowledge that, when you gotta let people go, you let people go, right? But they also acknowledge like, I hope it's never me. You know what I mean? Um, and so there's a sadness there about that. Like I don't want anyone to ever take it personal, but at the same time, I know that I'm not in control of how anyone feels, and that's not my work, right? Like that's not my work. And I see this whole journey so differently because I've had so many awakenings within these past 6 months that really has shifted the way I see the world, the way I see myself, the way I see my role in this world, the way I see everybody's role in this world. And my whole thing is to live a well-lived life. And in order to live a well-lived life, I have to follow my energy's guidance. That's the only way I'm going to have peace and joy and contentment and satisfaction in this life is if I trust myself and that I follow the guidance that I'm receiving from myself. And part of that includes letting people go. And so today when it's like, you gonna let people go, it was like, and another one, y'all. And so I just want to acknowledge, if you're still listening to this, I want to acknowledge that, it's not easy to be letting people go, to let jobs go, to let things go. I don't know if not easy is the word, but I what I will say is that I understand the discomfort and I want to share my own experience. Right now, I'm in a state of flow, a state of peace because I accepted earlier today. Like, okay, they want me to let people go. Those relationships are on pause for now, and I'm focused on integrating. I'm so excited about integrating and and really embodying that version of me and really experiencing that energy that I was feeling. I would choose it over somebody any day. Okay, I would choose it over another person. I would choose myself, my role, my purpose, my journey over anything any day. Okay, I would choose me every single time. I would choose my path every time. I don't know why. That's just who I am. I'm gonna choose my path every time. I'm gonna choose my intuition every time. I'm going to choose what I'm being guided to do, even if I don't understand it every time, because it always works out for me. And it's only led me to a more fulfilling life. So I know where I'm being guided to is not going to hurt me. It's only going to give me more experience, more joy, more discovery of self. I want to take my dog for a walk, so my puppy for a walk. So I'm like, let me get to it. All right. So yeah. So just like, I understand like sometimes it may be challenging or, you know, overwhelming or scary or sad to let people go, but sometimes that is part of the path. And I know for me, I've been there so many times and each time, you know, it got there was less resistance, but I feel like with every relationship you have a different connection, right? And so, my biggest thing I feel like is often just like I hope they don't take it personal. Like I don't want to, but it's either higher self or you, and I love you, but I'm going this way, and it's all out of love, and I will want the same thing for them. Even in my romantic relationships, I will always encourage people to do what makes them happy, even if that means leaving me. Like I can be sad, I can cry my eyes out, whatever. I'm always going to encourage people to choose themselves because your our paths is just like that's where our life well lived is. That's the path, that's the journey. And like as much as you might meet me along the journey and think I'm fun and cool and exciting, God has so much more for you. God has so much more for you. So, and more doesn't mean better, it's just different, right? Like God has so much more for you. I think I'm amazing, absolutely, but God has so much more for you. And I'm always going to encourage people to do what is aligned for them. I just have to. It just I just have to. That's just it's just in me. Like I don't mind being sad and crying and hurt. That's just a reflection of like what's out of alignment for me. I'm attached to you probably in some way, right? But even today, like the energy wasn't heavy. It was just like a true grief. I guess it's mourning. Yeah. It was just mourning. I just had a sadness there. It wasn't heavy, it wasn't overwhelming. It was just uncomfortable because I was just like sad about what? Like and then when it hit me, a couple of things came to my mind that made me think that it had to do with relationships and me cutting some ties or shifting my relationship status with some people. And so, y'all, I'm very at peace though. And so I wanted to come and just talk about like what happens when isolation is necessary and how it can feel overwhelming and there could be a million thoughts coming through and there's this sadness there and you cry sometimes from a broken heart and right, which is really just your heart opening and you releasing any attachments you have to or stories you have or beliefs you have around that situation and recognizing there's so much more. And you just open up your heart more. So heartbreak for me is always just like a reminder of like I'm opening up more. I'm letting go. I'm getting lighter in my energetic field. Like I'm very optimistic about life. Like because life has constantly just shown me that everything is happening for my good. Everything works out for me. I have fun. It's joyful even when it hurts. At the on the other side of that hurt and pain, there has been sunshine and brightness and newness and rebirth and beauty that I never thought was possible and peace that I didn't even know existed. So I'm willing to risk a little discomfort for the unknown because in my world, the unknown is delicious. But at the same time, I do experience emotions, right? I still experience emotions. I'm just willing to journey through them. And so that's what the message here is about, right? Like, I know that if you are being called to isolate, if you are being called to retreat, if you are being called to be alone, whatever, however you want to label it, if you're being called to the void, um, and there's some sadness there, be with it. It's okay. Name your feelings, name what you're experiencing, name how you feel. Let yourself really release what's coming up for you. Journal about it. Talk to Chatty about it. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes for you to be honest with yourself and to process your experience, to help you clear it, because you may not know exactly why you're feeling what you're feeling, and that's okay too. Because, like I said, at first when I was feeling the sadness, I was so confused. Like, what is this about? Like, what's going on? And then I also often, when I feel like that, I just think that things are happening probably like on a spiritual plane that I don't know what's going on and maybe I need to release, right? I need to release stuff. And because I feel like I do a good amount of like inner work. I'm I feel like something is always in process, right? And so I don't always know what exactly the sadness is coming from because it could be coming from releasing beliefs, right? That I probably forgot that I even was doing programming on. So there's that, but we journey through, okay? So hold on. Yeah, so please keep in mind, not everyone is meant to go with you on every part of your journey, and that's okay, right? It does not have to be a judgmental thing. It does not have to be a they did this, they did that. I do remember there was a time where I felt like I was trying to justify why I was letting this person go, and I just like my inner voice was just like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a reason to just say, this is not in alignment for me or this no longer feels good. You don't need to try to comfort their character. It's okay to just say, this doesn't feel good for me and let that be it, you know? And so this time I didn't even think of the other people besides the fact that like, damn, another one spirit. Like, we let go more people. But I think this didn't feel like so much a letting go as much as a like pull back my energy and I'm going in a void. That's what it felt like. It wasn't about like you need to tell them something. It was I think I wanted to do it just out of respect and just to be like, hey, if you don't hear from me, I'll be back soon. But I don't even know. I have no idea what this is like. I just know that I'm being asked to isolate. I'm being asked to folk. I'm being asked to be alone. I'm being asked to not give my energy out to the people I've been giving my energy to. That's what I know. And so, and every energy I felt into, it was saying the same thing. And this is a thing, I've been feeling this for weeks about different people. And so I was just like, all right, whatever. Was it weeks? Yeah, yeah, yeah. For one person, it was like weeks. Yeah, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Like, the reality is, the energy's been there for a while. And it's been because my energy, my inner guidance, I say energy, um, basically was just like, we we can't keep going back, right? Like those conversations that certain people are having, you don't want to be a part of it. You don't want to have those conversations. So why are you having them? You know what I mean? Like, and I do it because you want to feel connected, right? You don't want to. I guess from my ego wise, this is all ego. I don't want to act like I'm too good for people, you know. But the reality is, I really just don't care about a lot of things that people are talking about. I don't know. It's so interesting though. But anywho, it is what it is. Everything all of this has purpose. But I think for me, and I don't even think it's about what people are talking about. I think it's the repetition of the conversation. It's not the one-off conversations, it's the repetition of it all, right? Like, because the more you talk about the same thing, the more you just affirm in the same thing, right? The more you just pour energy into the same thing. And like we you already created that. This is the experience you're having. Why would we keep creating this? Like, let's create something new. Um, so, but it is what it is. We all got our paths. I'm too learning this, right? I too just started, like, I guess a couple of weeks ago where I really got into it, where I was just, well, wait. what I'm experiencing now, and I keep hearing, first of all, this wasn't even a couple of weeks ago, but I reheard it again and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta remember this. Um, but mind you, your body actually does remember. Your body keeps score. But the idea that your current experience is the result of past thoughts. So I'm constantly reminding myself of that. So like anytime I'm thinking, like anytime you judge in a moment, the best thing to do is like affirm something new, affirm what you rather prefer to be happening. Um, but anywho, yeah, sometimes I spirit will isolate us so we can hear clearly, grow deeply, and align fully. I know for me, when I need to integrate energy, when I need to integrate new programming, it's best I do it without any energy that can interfere with it. It just takes way longer when other people' energy is around. And then you're battle, you tattling. When I'm just trying to go one way. I'm just trying to go one way. Okay, just that way. I ain't trying to go back and forth. I'm just trying to go one way or one way. I don't call it what you want. I'm just trying to go one way. And so that's the other thing. And so the other thing is, like I said a million times already, this is not personal. While we're doing this, is not personal. And so, you got to keep that in mind. I think for me too, I'm always remembering the truth of who I am. So I know my intentions. I know my heart. So it's really hard to like try to guilt me into for what I'm doing. But at the same time, I acknowledge that we're having human experience, right? And I'm going to consider my friends. I'm going to consider the people I love, even while knowing that I can't control how they respond. I can't control how they feel about my choice, right? Like there's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is make my choice and deal with whatever consequences come. That's all I can do. And so it is what it is, but I know it's not personal. For me, I make sure, like I said, that I am pouring love into everybody I come across while they're in my presence. I enjoy people while they're there, when they're there. We get to, like, that's what Nipsey Hussle said. We get to experience people. And I am very big on that. Like 2 years ago, my dad transitioned. And that was the first time I ever lost someone I was close with and that I loved so much and I actually liked as a person. And the way I had never experienced a transition, right? So the way I saw how life just moves on, it was like this man never existed outside of the photos and the stories I got. Life just moved on. No one checked on me. It's like, I think after like the funeral, or even before that, no one was checking on me. No one was asking me how I was doing. One person did like once in a blue check on me, but other than that, and so like that kind of taught me to like live. You have to live for yourself. You have to. You have to. Because what else is there? Everybody else gonna come and go. They're gonna be temporary. And I'm not saying that it's about that, but it's like when you think about the bigger picture of life, when you think about the sacrifices we make, when we think about what we say yes to, at the end of the day, it's always you. The story has always been about you. It's always you. You are always the center of your story. So while we may be out trying to live for other people, trying to satisfy people, trying to keep the peace, at what cost? At what cost? And I guess for me, I've decided that I'm not willing to sacrifice my well lived life to make other people comfortable, to keep other people comfortable, and to keep the peace. That's just not going to work for me. So I'm officially, and I've been for a while, committed, like really hardcore committed, meaning I'm not wasting any time being scared of people reactions and responses or nervous about them or not or trying to avoid you know people reactions whatever they are. I don't really have people around me these days that blow up anyway, but like back in the day, who knew what would have came out if I was like, hey, I don't want to be a friend no more. There was a lot of, yeah, it could have been so different, but these days I'm not too concerned about that. It's just more so like, honestly, the more I'm talking about it, I'm just like, I think most people would get it. Like nobody would really take it personal. Like I don't think anybody would take it personal because it's like shit. I'm sad too. I'm sad too. Like we all sad. Like y'all gonna be if y'all said so am I. So am I. So it's not like I'm not feeling nothing. I'm feeling it and I'm still moving forward. So now that I think about it, I'm just like, thank y'all for being here with me. Thank y'all for letting me talk to y'all. Um, because I did put this stuff together. Like I said, people are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It's not personal, it's divine timing, and you just gotta let it be what it is. And we can talk more about that too, because I also have thoughts and perspective regarding how we attract people into our experience. We should definitely talk about that. All right. When we honor those intuitive nudges, we allow both ourselves and others to move forward in alignment. So, me getting that guidance that, it's just time to hit pause. It's just time to hit pause on those current relationships. They're just not working. And it's time to step back, pull back my energy, and recalibrate. Okay? We're going to do a little reset, baby girl. And that's okay. And it's okay that everybody can't go with me. And it's okay if once I come back out, bloomed and activated, whoever stays. Let's go. Let's journey on. Um, so I feel like isolation is a gift though. Like I already been talking about, it's just like I've had these experiences so often, but I think and every time it's different, right? Because you're not even who you were the last time that you had that experience. So we gotta be clear about that. Um, but sometimes spirit asks us to retreat so we can tune into our own frequency without distraction. And I talked about that earlier. Like I think that I'm telling y'all, I've experienced so much where, you're moving forward and you're doing your things and then you get these distractions, whether people are pulling on your energy, you know, your friends and your loved ones have their whatever they got going on in their life and like you're usually like the voice of reason or people usually like to come to you because you have an objective or neutral point of view or people think that, they believe that you have answers for them. So, and right, part of that is boundaries too, right? Like making sure you have clear boundaries with people. But there's just so many things that can be happening and that you end up getting caught up in the chaos of everything else and not focused on what you're being called to do. And also I just because I know what I know energetically, I just know this is also not only a spirit telling me to do it, it's also the best thing for me. And when I do this, the integration is going to, in my belief, the integration is going to happen way quicker. It's going to happen way quicker. Now, I don't know what that means by way quicker, but I know that if I was keeping them around, I would be trying to like balance, go back and forth. I don't even know what the fuck I would be doing, but because I often dip, okay? So I can integrate. And when I integrate, it happens so much quicker. It just happens so much quicker. Um, and and when I'm saying so much quicker, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I don't even know what that means because it's so subjective. It may feel quick, but was it really quick? I don't fucking know. Um, so if you're in a season of isolation, trust that it's purposeful. That was the whole point of this. I wanted to share a perspective because it happened earlier today and it was still here on my heart and my mind. And I'm like, you know what? Like I also while I was once I like processed everything, I was like, I'm gonna go share this. Like people are we talking about the fact of like what it means to be isolated, like what this journey requires of you? Like I don't it's starting to feel like I ain't gonna have no friends, which I'm not at all worried about because I'm not at all worried about because at the end of the day, there's a certain energetic I'm looking for in relationships, and I haven't quite met it yet. So there's that. Um, so yeah, I think that's the gist of it. This process isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. It's always I don't know. I always feel like on the other side of it all, it's just flow, it's ease, it's newness. Um, I feel like I wrote something here. There's freedom on the other side. That too. That was something that Sheila has said in her message. There's freedom on the other side. And that I will say, because it's like you release another identity that no longer aligns, right? Because like I'm telling y'all, this identity that I was living as, these friendships I had, that's not who I am. Like I know that's not who I am anymore. That's not my current state of being. And so I was already like slowly doing my own thing in my own world, not really speaking as much. But now I feel like I don't even want to be interrupted anymore. Like I don't need messages anymore. I don't want to be interrupted. Uh, I just want to go and handle my business, do what I need to do, and then I'm ready to come out. And if the version of me aligns with them, it aligns with them. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm at peace with, yo, I felt her, the energy of me. Who, and I've been seeing her for some time, like this version of me, and I'm obsessed because it's like I feel like that's the real me. When I stop tiptoeing around people, when I stop trying to dim my light so that people can feel comfortable around me, that's who I am. That's exactly who I am. And not everybody gonna be able to take it because the tone is not. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess we're gonna all see. Like at the end of the day, we're gonna all see who I morph into. Because I did see myself doing more videos. So that's gonna be. I'm excited for that. So I was like, oh girl, show up, show out, get it. But yes, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If this resonates, please leave a comment. Let me know what your experience has been. Let me know if you feel what I'm talking about. I'm a chatty. I have a Gemini rising. I Mercury rules my chart. I would chat. I'm very like chilled. I don't like. I'm recording this. I'm not gonna edit it. That's just how I roll. Um, but this is me. This is me, and I wanted to talk about that isolation. Talk about what I'm being guided to. Talk about the sadness. It felt sad, and at the same time, I'm recognizing that just as much as you know. And I think too, by the time I get to the person to tell them that I'm taking a break or whatever, by the time I get to them, I'm usually past the sad phase. So I think that sometimes people think I don't care. And but again, right? I'm projecting. Those are my projections. Those are my inner worlds, right? Like that doesn't make it true. So, oh well. At the end of the day, that's the other thing. It's just like it's gonna be what it's gonna be, girl. So it is what it is. But yeah. So I love you all. I pray that you all are well. I would love to hear your comments and please leave me a comment below. Let me know if there's anything you would like to talk more about or if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about. I do plan on coming back more on YouTube. I'm aiming currently to get 50 subscribers on my Charlie Shrew page so that I can go live directly from my phone. I realize that I just love going live. I did a month of going live every day on TikTok in November, and it's just my vibe. I just love it. I like to just record and go. I'm not really big on editing. That's why you will get these versions of me. And those that resonate, and it is what it is. But I love y'all. I pray that you have your best day on purpose. I pray that you are kind to yourself, that you are journeying in a state of flow and acceptance for what is. Know that everything is happening for you. This journey is all about you. The universe is honoring you. It is taking care of you. It is your resource. So you will always have exactly what you need. You need only trust and know who and what you are. You are God. Playing a game of hide and seek with itself. That is something I heard from another human design teacher. I cannot think of her name, but I'm a big believer in that God is within us, and awakening is us remembering that truth. So whether you call it God, whether you call it Source, I'm very big on calling it Source because that's the image I see. That's the image I've seen since I was a little girl. But at the same time, I'm conditioned, and sometimes I call it God. But nonetheless, we're all an aspect of Source, and we just got to remember that truth and remember how powerful and magical we are and that we are co-creators. And there's so much I will share soon. But for now, I love you all. I pray that you have your best day on purpose, that you enjoy your evening. Well, I'm going to post this tomorrow morning. So, anywho, leave me a comment. Love y'all the most. Mm-mm-mm.